Everyone, what is going on? It is Crypto Bobby. Hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you are watching in from. Welcome to a special edition of Crypto Happy Hour, Friday night edition. Hanging out here talking about what is happening overall in the crypto markets, taking your questions and answers and all that good stuff as we move forward here. What is up, Tommy? What's up, crypto? Geesh, what is going on, folks? Hope you guys are having a good one so far. I'll give it a second here to let everybody start heading into the room. Sorry for the little bit of a late notice here, but I had a little bit of a lag in my schedule, so figured I would just pop in here, say what's up, and traveling right now, so in a hotel, don't have a camera or anything like that, so just... You're stuck without my ugly face today. What's going on, Pittsburgh? Dale Thomas, John, Aaron. Hope you guys are having a good one. Russell Brown, what's up, everybody? So as far as things go today, pretty, I wouldn't say crazy day in the markets right now. Bitcoin has kept up its momentum nicely. It's been able to hold for the most part above 10K, which has been obviously great to see. Hasn't gone up too much, which I think has allowed some of the altcoins a little bit of room to breathe and room to make some nice runs for a select few on the past 24 hours. A couple of them have done fairly well. Vertcoin is and have come back from the dead a little bit. 0x added to Bittrex, which was pretty solid and great to see. So I was happy to see 0x and also Kyber following along there. OMG. Yeah, thank you, Brian. Appreciate that, brother. No camera. What am I gonna do? But yeah, I mean, some fairly nice runs. Nothing absolutely crazy. No, 100%, 60% runs on the day like some of the other days that we've had. But overall, I think a solid day to be in crypto here. And if you guys are doing anything interesting, I'd love to hear about it. Love to see what you guys are drinking, where you're watching in from, and obviously all your questions. James Vaughn mentioned great interview the other day with Oved at AirSwap. Yeah, I really enjoyed the interview with Oved. Extremely intelligent dude, and what they're trying to accomplish. I think it's really interesting because as Oved indicated, each decentralized exchange protocol like AirSwap or the swap protocol like 0x and the 0x protocol like Kyber, they're all approaching things in a very subtly different manner, whether it's like on-chain order books or if it's if it's like AirSwap where they are personally building the token trader and kind of taking that Apple iPhone type approach where they're building the protocol, and then they're also building the actual decentralized exchange. And then, somebody like 0x is kind of just responsible for the protocol. And then you have companies like Radar Relay and Paradex building on top of the 0x protocol. So pretty interesting to see the subtle differences beyond it. So taking a look here, the herd is coming. Polymath. Yeah, Polymath is an interesting one. I don't own any Polymath. I heard Polymath speak at the Bitcoin Miami conference, and I actually spoke to the founder to one of the co-founders as well. I like the approach they're taking. T0 and that partnership is going to be interesting there as well. Drinking the crypto Kool-Aid on Friday night. It's the only way to approach a Friday night, right? So Jeremy said, would be nice if Coinbase would stop taking my money. It's an interesting. I think they just tweeted about it. Let's see, Coinbase Twitter. So apparently that was an issue on the side. They are saying that it's an issue with, at this point in time, that the whole thing going on with Coinbase is specifically an issue with, let's take a look here, with Visa and WorldPay and not Coinbase's fault. So they're kind of deferring blame to, this is the president of Coinbase, I believe. Yep, the new president, COO of Coinbase. They're somewhat, I should probably follow him. They're deferring blame to Visa and some of the other banks and saying that they're the issue behind a lot of the Coinbase issues that are happening right now. It's really unfortunate, and especially with Coinbase being one of the more, I would say, legit companies in the space, to just have them pull money from your account sucks. It sounds like they've been refunding as quickly as possible. I'm sure there are going to be some issues, and I'm sure there are people out there that don't have, maybe they don't have as much money in a debit account as others, and they might get overdrawn or something crazy. Who knows? But hopefully Coinbase can figure it out quickly. I think there's probably going to be a blame game on there because that is, who knows? Try to get to as many of these questions as possible. As always, if there's anything you absolutely must have answered, throw it in a super chat, and I definitely will get to it if so. So somebody said, yeah, Curtis Geber said I got my money back already. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's not good, but if they can make things right as quickly as possible, then that would be positive. Somebody said, what are you drinking? Right now, nothing, smart water. But outside of that, hopefully have something nice to drink this evening. What's up, Escudo? First time, long time listener, first time caller. What's up, brother? Chris mentions OMG seems to be doing well. Yeah, Omise Go is having a nice little bit of a run recently, so that's fantastic to see. We'll pull it up on Bittrex charts here. It's funny because a lot of people gave me crap, like, why'd you sell OMG? Just be thankful that I sold OMG, but you should be thankful that I sold OMG because I'm the reason that it's now going up. That is, anytime I sell anything, it's gonna pop off. So, Timothy Wilson mentioned, what is the best app for monitoring your portfolio? I think Blockfolio is solid and Delta is solid. I personally use Delta over Blockfolio now. I like Blockfolio. Excuse me, I like Blockfolio, but I use Delta. I think it's a little bit smoother. It doesn't crash as much as Blockfolio used to. I don't know about what Blockfolio has done to maybe improve some of the issues, but I like Delta. They're both free, so you really can't go wrong. I mean, when you get free tech, like, what are you complaining about? But Delta, Blockfolio are both legit. IB Scooter says, please sell your Nebulous. Nah, man, I'm holding on to that. I'm not selling that. So Mike Thibodeau says, what are your thoughts on selling LTC before this fork hits in anticipation of a deep sell-off? I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but I really don't anticipate Litecoin selling off because of this stupid Litecoin cash crap. I would anticipate that it's not going to be, I don't know. I don't think the market right now is being driven by the Litecoin cash fork by any stretch. So I wouldn't anticipate a sell-off. In the case of Z Classic, that's going to basically go to down. I don't know if it's going to go to zero, but probably pretty close. None of the devs are really staying on with, none of the devs appear to be staying on. There's not going to be any like existing or development following Z Classic and that fork. But, and like the ETC, that deal, I think that's like the first, that is the first one. One of the first airdrops on ETC, so I think that will likely sell off as well, potentially, because people are just buying up in anticipation of the Callisto for airdrop, but don't really care that much. But I don't anticipate Litecoin Cash being the driver behind why the market is doing well or not doing well at this point in time. So, or for Litecoin at least, I would not, at least my personal opinion, I wouldn't make any moves directly on the back of Litecoin Cash. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Real quick, let me fix this thing. Like I said before, I'm traveling in a hotel right now, so I don't have my dual monitors. So apologies that you just had to look at that ugly OBS screen. So more thoughts on Bitcoin private. I bought into ZCL at about, I think it was like $100 or so. I don't remember the exact. Let me pull it up to see if I can remember where I bought it, like Bitcoin wise. It's definitely pulled back quite a bit. I think I bought it at like 0.012 in that range. About 0.012. And I anticipate holding up until I might sell a little bit prior to. I mean, it's already pulled off a little bit from its all-time highs on a Bitcoin trading pairing perspective. It's definitely been higher in the past, but we're at all-time highs from a Bitcoin trading standpoint. But I anticipate a sell-off at some point in time. I think some people are going to ditch even prior to the fork, prior to the snapshot. So I might sell the majority prior to the snapshot, see if I could potentially buy back in right before the snapshot at a cheaper rate. We'll have to see how it ends up panning out. I don't think there's a perfect strategy yet. I don't think that anybody knows exactly what's going to happen or why it might happen. So there are a couple different strategies you can take. Some people are just going to buy ZCL, hold on to it, get that snapshot money from get the money from the snapshot essentially and ride that out, and then hopefully ditch ZCL for some level of return. But I think ZCL is going to absolutely plummet the second second the snapshot happens. Chad B mentions Neo pumping right now. We'll take a quick look at the Neo charts. I still don't. I owned Neo in the summer. I don't own any of it right now, but I am pretty bullish on Neo in the near to medium term. I do think that it has. I think Neo, Cardano, EOS, they're all pretty interesting from an Ethereum competitor perspective. I do think Ethereum still has the majority of mind share, and I still do think it has the most background from a development standpoint. But it should be interesting to see how Neo can continue to innovate moving forward. Naima, thoughts on Augur? I mean, Augur is the OG ERC20 ICO Ethereum-based project. They're taking a little bit longer, I would say, from a development standpoint, but they're taking a little bit longer from a development standpoint. Hopefully, they're able to put something, to really find product market fit and advance and really come to fruition with the massive valuation that they have. Because I don't want to say they're overvalued, but they're still not it's still not highly in use by any stretch. And it's probably a 500 mil plus project. At one point in time, it was worth over $1 billion. So I'd like to see Augur succeed because of that, but I don't own any Augur personally at this point in time. Might not be a bad bet, though. So somebody mentions thoughts on Polymath. I talked about Polymath a little bit prior to, but I think security tokens are going to be interesting. It's definitely the case. I saw some people talking today about security tokens eating away market share at some of the big traditional exchanges. Instead of being on the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, some future companies might just go through the process of doing a security token instead. Could be fairly interesting. I don't know if Polymath will be the winner there, or if there's going to be increased competition around there. Polymath right now is kind of one of the first ones on the marketplace there in a pretty developing market for security tokens. So should be fun to watch. And I believe they're only traded on, if I'm not nuts, I think Polymath is only traded on KuCoin right now. So might not be the worst idea to pick some up. I mean, fairly not a massive valuation, but I mean you're talking about 238 mil. That's not crazy. It's not crazy high. So I don't. I didn't participate in the ICO. Didn't participate in the airdrop. Actually, they gave away like $250 of free money in the airdrop too. So that is that's definitely something to take into mind. But when you look at the market cap of something like Polymath in comparison to some of the other crap projects out there, who knows? Chad, I'm traveling right now. I don't have like a pimple on my face or something like that. I just I don't have two monitors and my USB ports. I only have 2 on my laptop, so I don't really care enough to throw in my camera. I don't really think it matters that much, unless you think I'm that handsome. So looking at some of these questions here, somebody said thoughts on doing a tax video. I can definitely have somebody on from a tax standpoint. I don't want to provide tax advice myself because everything is basically an interpretation on that. And I'm definitely, when I joke around and say I'm not a financial advisor, obviously I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm sure as hell not an accountant. And I don't want to provide any tax advice based on that. So if I could get an accountant on here, if I could get somebody that is fairly well versed in the subject, I understand I understand most of it going forward, and I use Bitcoin.tax, right? I'm using Bitcoin.tax for 2017, giving that to my own accountant and having him do that. So I would recommend if you have questions or if you're trying to calculate stuff, Bitcoin.tax. There's a link in the description below for Bitcoin.tax and or cointracking.info. Bitcoin.tax is cheaper. Cointracking.info has a little bit more functionality. But basically, you can just upload a lot of your CSV files from the exchanges, and they'll run, thanks, Arnold. Appreciate it. They'll hide a bunch of, what am I talking about right now? Good old Arnie threw me off. But they'll run a lot of the calculations. They'll do your P&L, all that good stuff, so that you can, you can kind of go through that process of passing that along to your accountant. So looking at some more of these questions here going forward. Do I think Litecoin's price a little bit overextended? I don't know about that. I don't own any Litecoin personally right now, but I wouldn't necessarily say Litecoin's price. It's still, if we pull it up on Chain FX, let's take a look. I mean, it's still down from the all-time high, probably more so than. Actually, no, it's done fairly well from an all-time high perspective. David Hayes says, where can I buy cheap hot altcoins? Well, go here on Chain FX, go to percentage down from all-time high, flip it up. Bitcoin or BitConnect, is down a smooth 99% from its all-time high. I would say it's a pretty cheap hot altcoin. Einsteinium is looking sexy, down 85%. So that's pretty nice. But outside of that, cheap hot altcoins. Yeah, I don't know what you might be hoping for there. Little Beat Connect. So Noah Parker mentions, do we need to move our Litecoin out of Coinbase to participate in the Litecoin cash fork? I highly doubt that Litecoin or that Coinbase and the majority of, I really don't know crap about the Litecoin cash fork, but I would doubt that the vast majority of exchanges are going to support that. Certainly not Coinbase. So, yeah, I would say that that's something that Coinbase is definitely not going to credit you Litecoin Cash. And I would say the majority of other exchanges out there will not do so either. I don't know. I haven't looked into it because, quite frankly, I think the Litecoin Cash fork is probably bogus. So I don't really care about it. But, yeah. So taking a look at some of these questions. Thoughts on Decentraland? Decentraland is pretty interesting. It's a pretty cool concept. I've heard some people that thought it would be stupid, and then they actually saw a demo of it in action, and they loved it. So Decentraland is pretty cool. I haven't used it yet, but the concept of it is fairly interesting. Could be an interesting one to watch out for. I don't know specifically about pricing or anything like that, so who knows there, but Decentraland is what they're trying to do is pretty fascinating on my mind. I do my own research, but would like insight into what I think is a great project, but may have a lazy team. The token is VZT. Let me take a look here. Vezd. False USD, $16,000 in volume. I could buy that volume. What is it? New. I don't know about these guys. Music fans share ownership in their artists and favorite songs. Are you Featuring Forbes, BuzzFeed. It's a little bit niche of a market for me, and that volume petrifies me. I would be scared to buy into that solely because I couldn't offload it. Or is it trading as? Is it just Ether Delta, or is it somewhere else? Move. Ugh. I don't even know what the hell those exchanges are. Yeah. Yeah, no, humble brag city, baby. My grandma who passed away could buy that volume out. So Dom says, do you feel bad about consolidating your portfolio, or ultimately better? Ultimately, I feel better. I mean, I'm not going to, sometimes you sell and then sometimes something pops off after you sell. You're not going to always hit every single, you're not always going to hit every single, what's it called? You're not always going to hit every single exchange or every single solid run. It's not always going to work perfectly. So, yeah, I needed to consolidate. My mind was running nuts. Everything was going crazy. So I just wanted to break it. I wanted to get more the big thing was I really wanted to get more concentrated on positions in a lot of respect. Like, it's cool to have 15, 20 different cryptocurrencies, but it kind of sucks in some respects because, like, one of those might crush it, but you're so spread thin that even if it crushes it, it doesn't make that much of an impact on your portfolio. At least for me, it didn't. So what's up, Funny Boo Boo? Nice name. Thoughts on co-vesting Bitcoin Gold? I'm not a fan of Bitcoin Gold, really. Maybe I should have held on, but I don't know. Bitcoin Gold is interesting because it benefits substantially from the existing supply of Bitcoin, and a lot of people that might not have access to Bitcoin. But there's no way Bitcoin Gold, in theory, like the market capitalization standpoint, should be worth like 2.3 bill. But it has decent volume. I mean, you're talking about 85 million volume, so that's not bad in terms of the volume on Bitcoin Gold. I personally, I'm sure you could trade it. I don't see a massive need for it. I think Bitcoin Private's probably going to exceed the valuation of Bitcoin Gold. I think it makes more sense. And then from co-vesting's perspective, I haven't done too much research into co-vesting, so I can't really dive too in depth on it. I'll have to do a little bit more diligence on co-vesting. Looks like volume picked up recently. I'm not sure if it got added to. I guess it maybe got added to KuCoin recently. I think if I'm remembering correctly, co-vesting got added to KuCoin recently. So that's probably the reason that the volume has gone from absolutely nothing to actually having some volume. Yeah, it went from $48,000 in daily 24-hour volume to 4 mil. So that's 6 mil. So that's interesting. Gotta love those fees. 2 to 3 year Cardano prediction after your chat with Charles. I have no idea. It's almost impossible to predict what's happening with where this market's going to be at in 2 to 3 months, let alone 2 to 3 years. I would hope it's up. I would hope Cardano's doing well and gains some market share, but I have no clue. No clue. And I mean, even so Mikey Gunn says 88 not moving, time to buy. I don't know if it's time to buy with Cardano, but it's definitely fallen out of favor, and that is usually a good opportunity. It could certainly fall farther out of favor, but it is by a lot of stretches kind of fallen out of favor where it's down 70% from its all-time high. A lot of things have recovered fairly well. Cardano has not really recovered that well. So, and I think a lot of people are losing interest in it because it hasn't recovered as much. And, something like you got Bitcoin Cash that was down quite a bit. And a lot of these projects will eventually pump. People will ride the wave. They will sell the top. It will dip. And then it will fall out of favor. People will lose interest. People will lose interest. And then the smart people behind the scenes are accumulating these solid projects that have just gotten their faces ripped off. And I think that's pretty helpful in the long run, is to try to find, like, from a contrarian perspective, the hot bets right now. There's a number of different hot bets, but being contrarian is always a smart thing, at least in my opinion, to do in the crypto world, because you got to do what other people aren't doing, because then you're, in that respect, you're not buying into these pumps that a lot of people end up doing, and that is always I think a smart way to approach things in the long run. Taking a look at some more questions here. So Prasan mentioned somebody bought $400 million worth of Bitcoin today. How is that even possible? Do you think institutional investors are getting into the game? Institutional investors are definitely getting into the game. There is, no question about that. I think that large institutional investors are absolutely getting into the game right now. I'm not sure if this chat's slowing down a little bit or what, but large institutional investors are absolutely hopping into the game, and that is something that, as far as buying $400 million worth of Bitcoin, they didn't go onto, they certainly didn't go onto GDAX and buy 400 mil in. They certainly didn't go onto GDAX or Coinbase and say, hey, we're going to buy $400 million worth of Bitcoin. On the other end of the spectrum, though, there are a number of different areas in which individuals, companies, organizations, whether it's over-the-counter trades, that is probably a fairly decent potential of what happened there. So over OTC, I would assume would probably be one of the more legitimate options in terms of that moving forward. So I'll have to see. I think that chat stopped working, so apologies on that. I'll have to look on my phone to kind of see what some of you guys are saying here. Are fish oil pills a scam? I think you got the wrong YouTube live, brother. So taking a look at some more here. Do I think AirSwap will get added to Bittrex? I have no idea. It's not always it's tough to speculate on that stuff, and to be honest, I'm not too worried about it. Adam Kamali, AirSwap is a scam. Yeah. Why would that be? Why would that be the case? Love to hear your thoughts and explanation on why AirSwap would be a scam. It's just backed by consensus. Mike Novogratz, some of the largest investors in the space, has actual people that went to Ivy League schools and worked at legit companies. AirSwap is a scam, but you probably invest in Electronium, so. Do you see a direct correlation between the price of BTC and your sub count? I definitely see a direct correlation in the price of Bitcoin between and my viewership on crypto, which is funny because when you think about that, you can definitely see, I'll say this, when the market goes down, people stop giving a crap, and it's not smart. So, like, if the market crashes, people will care for, like, a day or two, and then they'll literally pack their bags and go home. So don't be those, I'm not saying watch my videos because that doesn't mean crap, but there are definitely people out there that are top buyers or will get ADD and get distracted. And if you don't last through the hard times, you're going to lose out on a ton of opportunities. And you can directly see it in the viewership numbers of myself and really anybody else on YouTube, as well as just the overall interest level, volume, things like that, where it'll go down, the price will go down substantially, people will lose interest, and they'll dip out, and they'll be gone for forever. And that's what happened when I got into crypto back in late 2013, early 2014. A lot of people lost interest. I did not keep up as much as I should have, and I learned my lesson, and I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm definitely not going to make that mistake again. So that's kind of my big thing is even if the dip, even obviously we've dipped down from 20 grand to 10 grand in Bitcoin. Sucks. It is what it is. But I understand, and I personally believe that we are going to see at some point in time, you're going to see $1 trillion in crypto. Rob Byron music, half an hour wasted here. Rob Byron, you have a great first name, but nobody's holding a gun to your head and making you watch this show, homie. So, toodaloo. I heard Crypto Nick has a great show. He's got an awesome YouTube live. All ICOs, Adam says all ICOs are a scam until proven otherwise. Sorry, but that's my honest opinion. I mean, you could certainly say that, but when you are one of the head traders at Virtu Financial, which is a massive. I mean, Cardano ICO too, so I don't really. Obviously, Charles Hoskinson is building an interesting platform. It's a different approach. They're building a platform and not something. They're building a platform and not something like. See you, Rob Iron Music. Take it easy, homie. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, babe. But they're building. I mean, AirSwap and Cardano are building two separate things. You're building a decentralized exchange and you're building a general purpose platform. But if you say all ICOs are a scam, then you also have to say Cardano is kind of a scam. Cardano didn't do really a public ICO, but they raised a ton of money behind the scenes. So you can't say one or the other and go in that approach. But, I mean, there are a lot of ICOs that are scams. Like, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of crap ICOs that are scams. That's definitely true. However, I don't think AirSwap is one of those. I think that's a rough characterization of of it. They raised a conservative amount of money. They're backed by one of the biggest biggest kind of entities in backed by one of the big consensus, one of the biggest entities out there. Their ICO was actually smooth as hell. I participated in the ICO, it was smooth as hell. So I'm a fan, but. So taking a look at some more of these questions here. Monero V worth moving Monero off exchange for? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. So I was actually at a Monero meetup last night. It was kind of funny. I have a buddy that is in town in New York, and he is like a traditional finance type of guy, and I took him to a Monero meetup, which is the opposite of traditional finance. And a bunch of dudes talking about privacy and how they can basically shield transactions and hide from the government and hide drug deals. And he's like, what the hell is this stuff? Where did you take me right now? So what's up, Christopher Gray? ERP software sales, brother. ERP. Oh, shit. Hey, one-man army, you are now a moderator because I clicked a button on my on my phone, so don't do anything crazy. I don't know how to undo it on my phone. How is my Bloom investment doing? It is not doing well, but I'm still kind of holding on. It doesn't really have a ton of liquidity. It doesn't have a ton of liquidity. It's basically only traded on Ether Delta. Excuse me. So let's take this up. So Bloom hasn't done super well. Kind of trading around ICO prices for the most part. I don't remember the exact exact price, but it's up to like $1.50 at one point in time. It's trading at about 75 cents. Really solely traded on Ether Delta for the most part, and buy box as well. But I haven't done too much with Bloom. I've just been kind of hanging on to it, holding on to it, and letting it do its thing. So I don't even really know what buy box is, which is funny. But yeah, we'll have to see how. I just don't think it's worth selling Bloom yet. For me at least, I don't want to take the L on it. So was it there's some ICOs that I participated in that literally are immediate 3-4x's. I ditch a bunch of it, hold on to the last 25%, something like that. Bloom has not been that, but I do trust the team long term, and I think they have a pretty interesting solution there. Somebody said it's a Chinese exchange, isn't bad. Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to use it yet, so who knows. Somebody said ZCL, you going to sell or hold for private? I'm probably going to sell. I would say a decent amount prior to the snapshot. See if I can. I anticipate, and this could be completely wrong, but I anticipate if you look at the Ignis, if you look at what happened with Ignis, I think that with NXT and Ignis, NXT sold off like 3 days prior to the fork. I don't know. I think a lot of people are anticipating something similar happening, and just because people are anticipating something similar happening, they're going to try and front run that. So that'll be it'll be fairly interesting to see that see that pan out. So Mike Thompson, interesting point. All these new coins being listed, especially on Bittrex, which is I talked about that today. I expected more delistings to be happening this year. It's a good thought. I think there's got to be some level of regulatory clarity with Bittrex, because Bittrex is based in the U.S. and I don't think they'd be adding these new coins to their exchange if they thought they were going to get if the SEC was going to come after them or anything like that. So it should be. I think it's a positive sign for crypto in general if a US-based exchange is able to add new listings without because there was a significant time there's a significant time where that has there's a significant time where they were really not adding new new tokens there. Carolina, I don't see BLT on your portfolio. I forgot to. It's not probably one of my larger holdings. I forgot to add it to it, but I still do hold it. What coins are you thinking of making a video next? I usually don't make videos on specific coins. I mean, if there's something really interesting going on, I definitely will. I try to just keep it more current news for the most part. So, yeah, well, I don't necessarily do like, somebody like David Hay, if he's still watching, usually does like the deep dives into specific coins. Somebody like Jackson Palmer does deep dives. Both are fantastic. Jackson and David both really break things down well. So I don't want to necessarily be repetitive on that type of thing. Even like Ivan on Tech, I think does some nice little deep dives into specific cryptocurrencies to like break them down from a tech perspective to give people more general knowledge. So when it comes down to that, I usually don't. I don't want to be repetitive on that type of comment. I usually just want to on that type of content. So I usually just want to give kind of my own flavor to the discussion and kind of look more at just like general market movements, what's happening, what's going on. It's happy hour, not happy coin shill. Yeah, I try to stay away from the coin shilling. There's you guys know who to go to if you want to get shilled. You know who to hit up on YouTube. There's a lot of shillers. You guys can go there if you want. I try to stay as for the most part biased as possible, just so you have somewhere hopefully that you can go to not get your face shilled off. Somebody said hacker target, don't you worry to put your holdings on a portfolio tracker? I don't know why anybody having their holdings on a portfolio tracker would really matter. It's complete, at least for me, it's completely manual. I don't sync up my portfolio tracker to an exchange. So why, unless why does it matter? How does that make me a target for hackers? I'd be kind of interested to hear that. Can you look at Crypto 20? I think I've looked at it in the past. Looked at Crypto 20 in the past. I don't know. Not something that let's see here. Tokenized crypto index fund. I'll have to dive into it a little bit more. Tokenized funds are pretty interesting. I do think that like exchange traded funds, ETFs, are pretty cool for people that are trying to I think they're pretty cool for people that are trying to diversify without having to go through the whole process of doing so. So I mean, it's only traded right now on EtherDelta, BuyBox, HitBTC, IDEX. So not necessarily the easiest places to get crypto. I'm not sure what premium they might be trading at as well. I'll have to dive into it more, but the concept of a tokenized index fund is definitely interesting because they haven't been able to get index funds that have been actively, traded on like the New York Stock Exchange or anything like that yet. So somebody said BTC is breaking out. We'll take a look. Pop over GDAX, see what's up. Yeah, looks like it just broke 10,000 200 for the first time, really, with any level of conviction in the past 12 hours or so. So that should be. I'll definitely keep an eye here on what's happening with Bitcoin. Somebody said, "Are you doing the IOTA interview?" I haven't set it up yet, but I'll definitely try to get it hooked up. Why Tron will make you rich in 2018. Why Tron will get to $200. Somebody said, I hear a lot about QuantStamp. Your thoughts? I think QuantStamp is a solid project. I like QuantStamp. I sold a little bit of it, I sold my QuantStamp recently to ride the ZCL and ETC wave. But I do plan on buying back into QuantStamp. I do plan on buying back into ELF as well, most likely. So I am definitely I'm definitely a fan of QuantStamp. It's one of the more interesting projects out there, at least in my mind. They're not like, it's not one of the big old market chiller. They're not incredibly focused on marketing. Somebody just said Tron will make you a millionaire if you put $1 billion into it. Oh man, sorry. Kyber's interesting as well. Kyber's a solid project. I think that between Kyber, AirSwap, and 0x, I don't think you could go wrong with any of them. I do think they're all attacking decentralized exchanges in very different, or not necessarily very different manners, but slightly different flavors. And I do think that the way that they're approaching things is extremely interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing that in action. Low key, what do you think about Ripple taking over the foreign exchange market? I don't know. I'm somewhat doubtful on the. I think Ripple is an excellent business. I think that they're fantastic at getting partnerships. I still kind of think in a lot of respects the token might be overvalued, but I've been wrong about Ripple in the past. It's just a different approach to cryptocurrency. It is. It's not really a quote unquote true cypherpunk cryptocurrency. It's backed by a company. It is very different than a Bitcoin or an Ethereum or something like that. So a lot of people hate it because of that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong or anything like that either. So Ripple going all the way to $100 by 2020. You, my friend, need to learn what a market cap is. No, Parker, fantastic point. Do you think partnerships in general are slightly overvalued? I think they're not slightly overvalued. I think they're highly, highly overvalued. A lot of these partnerships, while they're fantastic, they are progress because you need to make progress to really kind of move anything forward in the space. A lot of these partnerships are simply pilot programs. If you're in software, if you're in corporate America, you know that pilot programs are by no means a guarantee of future success, by no means a guarantee that they're just people experimenting with your product, your platform, your solution. So I think that partnerships in general, whether it's Ripple, whether it's any other company out there, I mean, it's not like they put these partnerships out there to drive the price. I think some of the shitty coins do. I really do think that. But partnerships, at least in the minds of quote-unquote crypto investors, are highly, highly, highly overvalued. Most of the partnerships are minimal at best, if not bogus. So, companies that have basically bought software from Microsoft that go out and say that they have a partnership with Microsoft or some crap like that, that type of thing. Thoughts on Reem? I am not too familiar with it. I'll have to check it out in more detail in a little bit. And Justin Diaz, BTX, and Storm recent pickups, Rollaway IPA. Hope you're enjoying that IPA, brother. I've heard some good things about Storm. I know a couple different people have been talking about Storm more and more often. It's not really traded on many massive exchanges, so that's one point that I think a lot of people are looking at to potentially pick it up. Fairly conservative market cap. You're talking about $145 million cryptocurrency. At one point in time, it was up to close to 600 mil. So it's trading significantly off the all-time highs, but it's really only on BTC, Bancor, Ether Delta, IDEX. I don't have a hit BTC account, but yeah. You guys, if you are new to the channel by any chance, hit that subscribe button, the notify bell as well. And if you have been around, I would love for you to hit the like button so this video gets out to more people later on. What's up, Nuggets? What's going on, brother? What do you think of Augur? I answered a question about Augur earlier. I don't have any money in Augur. I think that they have a great public. I think they have a pretty good public persona. They have a couple of guys that are larger in the space that are behind it. They're really they're one of the first ever ERC20 tokens. They might be the first. They might be the original ERC20 token. They have a lot of solid backing, but I'm not. I'd like to see like more progress as far as like the Augur solution goes. So I don't really own any Augur now. I think what they're trying to do from like a prediction market perspective is really interesting, and pretty awesome. So we'll have to see how that ends up panning out. What do I think about Ethereum Blue? I need to do more research on it. I've talked to people about it a little bit before, and I've actually talked to their team a little bit. But what's up, Crusader General? Good to see you as always. Talk about Ucash being the biggest shitcoin scam in the history of shitcoin scams. So I don't think I can click on that link right now, but yeah, what is it? Ucash, U.cash, baby. So I just kind of ignored this. I mean, this went from less than $100 million market cap to being worth $2 billion and then selling back down to 500 mil. If I could short this, I probably would. I don't think there's a market to short Ucash, but and I've seen some questionable, unsavory characters. I will say I'll have some unsavory characters have been shilling Ucash or had shilled Ucash. So I wouldn't touch this crap with a 10-foot pole. Somebody said I'll only subscribe if you say rhinoceros. Did you even spell that correctly? Peace, one-man army. Good to see you. Guys, at this point in time, it is, been going on for about an hour or so here, close to an hour or so at this point in time. So it's Friday night, haven't eaten dinner, haven't had a drink, haven't really gotten a chance to relax. So I'm going to head out for the evening. I'll be on Twitter if you guys really need me. I'll be shitposting per usual, hanging out a little bit. But I hope you have a wonderful Friday. I'll likely be doing a video and a YouTube live tomorrow as well, so stay tuned for that. A lot of content coming tomorrow and Sunday this weekend. I'll be pumping content out. Because why not? Long weekend. Have a good one, guys. Really do appreciate the time. Crypto Bobby signing out. Take it easy. Peace.